Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan Franzen, and this is the first post on BroPreach. What's BroPreach, you ask? It's a simple thing of my two favorite things, working out, lifting weights, and God. I created this website in hopes of changing and impacting people through a bigger audience through exercise and spiritual guidance. Today we're going to talk about commitment and surrendering. Being a trainer, I get asked a lot of questions. Mainly, how do I lose 5 pounds? Or how do I get my guns bigger? How do I tone up my triceps? And, I can give them nutritional advice. I can give them certain exercises to, target those areas. And what I think these people are really asking is, how much effort is it going to take to get to my goal? And I answer that question with another question. How bad do you want it? If your goal is to lose 5 pounds, then get your butt to the gym and lose those 5 pounds. Commit to losing those 5 pounds. Work harder in the gym. Do things that are uncomfortable. Eat the right foods. Drink plenty of water. That's a good one. If you have other goals of, say, doing a pull-up or whatever it is, come in here and do a pull-up. Try. Do a bunch of lat pull-downs. I don't care what the goal is, whether it's trying to deadlift your body weight or, trying to go upstairs without huffing and puffing. Commit to doing the goal. It's that simple. You have to commit to seeing yourself achieve this goal in the future and work relentlessly at it. It's what you have to do, plain and simple. After you have your goal picked out, you got to surrender to the process. And I like to use this term, it's a life term, I'm sure you probably heard it before, is that working out, much like life, is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And what that means is that it's going to take time to change your body. It takes time, but don't lose sight of your goal. Some people, they respond really quickly to fitness. Others don't. Whatever the goal is, or whatever the process is, just keep your eyes focused on the goal. You may have some slip-ups. You may slip up on your diet. You might have 2 slices of cheesecake instead of the 1 that you planned. Or, you might get hurt. That's okay. It's human nature to do that. Stick to your goal. Stick to your process. It will happen. Now, committing to God is something new for me, and honestly, I'm still kind of struggling with it. I'm not very well versed in the Bible or a lot of Christian teachings, and that's one of the reasons why I started this website, is so I can teach myself and hopefully help others. It says in John chapter 14, verses 6 and 7, Jesus answered, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him, and you have seen him." This comes at a time when Jesus is being chased. He just predicted his death, and he just predicted his betrayal by Judas. What this comes down to is that there's only one way to God, and it's through Jesus. There's only one way into heaven, and it's through Jesus. As my pastor says over at Beach Cities, Pastor Kent Sparks, you don't get in by what you know, it's who you know. I love that saying. And to go a little more personal, I grew up in a house that wasn't really based in religion. It wasn't a focal point. I remember being a young kid, I was going through Young Life, and my parents gave me a decision. They said, "Hey, do you want to continue with Young Life, or do you not want to?" 6-year-old me was like, you know what, I'd rather not. I'd rather go ride my bike, play Legos, why would I want to sing songs about a guy in the sky? By the time I was in 7th grade, I felt empty. I felt like there was something missing. I felt there was something more to me than just what was here. So I don't remember what exactly started this, but I started to pray every Sunday. And these prayers were really basic. I would thank God for everything He's provided for me. He provided for me with family and friends. My life, that's a glorious gift right there. I'd ask for His protection, and I'd ask for whatever forgiveness of sins that I may have come across. During this time, my group of friends had another friend come into the fold, and let's just call him Joe. Joe's a pretty good kid, and he remains a pretty good acquaintance to this day, which may surprise a lot of you after what I'm going to tell you. Joe really pushed my buttons back in the day. We didn't get together very long, or very well. He started to tease me a lot, and eventually a lot of my other friends started joining in. And at the time, it was just guys just being guys, just being guys, 13-year-old kids, what do you expect? And I didn't know how to take this camaraderie, and this went on for about a year and a half to about the middle of my freshman year. And it got to the point where I was like deliberately riding my bike a different route just to avoid going by his house. And it finally got so bad, and I felt, I couldn't take it anymore. I felt alone. I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody. And I fell into a depression. My only way out, I thought, was suicide. My dad keeps a 9mm Ruger in his bedroom, and I shot it many times before. And I had it all planned out. I was thinking, if this kid antagonizes me one more time, I'm gonna grab my dad's gun, I'm gonna write a letter explaining everything to my parents and that I'm sorry and I love them. And I was gonna go in my backyard and put the gun in my mouth and pull the trigger. Excuse me. That night I prayed, which I thought was gonna be my last prayer. And I was straight up with God, and I told him, what I'm gonna do, why I'm gonna do it, and I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me. I had a really restless night of sleep that night. I couldn't sleep, if you can imagine. I woke up the next morning and I did my usual routine. I rode my bike to my friend's house, and that's where we would meet before we would go to class. And Joe didn't make it to our house. And Joe didn't come to lunch that day either. He didn't hang out with us at lunch. As a matter of fact, Joe stopped hanging out with us completely for the rest of the school year, and for the entire summer, and for half of my sophomore year. It's taken me a long time to see that God had a different plan for me during this time of my life. I believe he was testing my faith, and I think he was making it stronger. In 1 John chapter 5, verse 14, the Bible says, "And we have this confidence in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us." I believe God heard me, and he saved me. I have no other way of explaining it. I really can't. You see, I was committing myself to God through all those prayers on that one night beforehand. And that one night where I thought I was saying my last prayer, I finally surrendered myself to God. I said, "Here I am. I'm at my most vulnerable. Do your bidding." He saved me. And I think he can save a lot more too. Now, I don't want to end on something so heavy. I'd much rather lift something very heavy. I have a goal of deadlifting 500 pounds without any straps or any braces or anything like that. So I'm going to attempt to do 365 pounds for 10 reps. I've never done this before, and hopefully I can do it. We're going to go for a little ride right now, so just bear with me, please. Oh, oh my God. Whew.
400 pounds looks like. I saw that. Oh, you got it.
So if you have any questions or feedback, contact me, please. I'm tired. I just deadlifted a bunch of weight 10 times. I've never done that before. If you have questions or feedback, please contact me. I'm gonna put links up for my church at Beach Cities. You can check them out. Check out Pastor Kent. And I'm gonna put up some links for suicide prevention hotline. If you or anybody knows going through a tough time and is talking about suicide, have them contact someone, the hotline, any church, or even me. Thanks for tuning in. I say you go in strength with God. After what happened in Orlando this past weekend, it pains me. We have so much anger and hate and hostility. And God doesn't want that. He wants us to embrace Him and to give love to one another. Thank you for tuning in.